I just can't help but smile whenever I talk about McHappy Day. I just said it to our next guest. McHappy Day is tomorrow. I get excited. Also, I always loved going into a McDonald's and helping out on McHappy Day, and there'll be so many volunteers doing that, of course, on McHappy Day, which is coming up tomorrow, and it raises funds for a great cause, as you all know, and that is Ronald McDonald House. And here to tell us more about that, I'm joined by Christine Hardy. She is the CEO of RMHC Ottawa. Welcome. Great to have you here, Christine. Before we get to McHappy Day, let's talk about Ronald McDonald House and just what an incredible story this has been. You know, we can talk about it, in Canada specifically, but just tell me about how successful this has been.
Sure. Well, Ronald McDonald House, as you know, provides a home away from home for families who are in the situation whereby they have no choice but to relocate in order for their child to receive the care that they need. There are close to 400 Ronald McDonald Houses around the world, 16 in Canada, and typically we're located right next door to the Children's Hospital so that families who have to travel in from out of town don't have to step too far away from their child's bedside.
And I've had the great opportunity and good fortune of seeing one of these homes, and it really is a home. Can you sort of describe what a Ronald McDonald House is?
Absolutely. So when you walk into a Ronald McDonald House, you are greeted with warmth and love by our volunteers and our staff. We provide families with a private suite and bathroom. At current time, we have 14 suites right now at Ronald McDonald House, but we are breaking ground to expand, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in August. And we just really surround the family with everything we can to make their stay easier. So we provide several meals a week. We have volunteer groups that come in and cook for the families. We have pet therapy, music therapy, a beautiful garden, and really we're just trying to give families as many of the comforts from home as we can. Because the reality is most families, actually 65% of Canadian families live outside of a city that's home to a children's hospital.
Yeah.
So it's actually most families who, if their child is diagnosed with a disease or has an accident, will have to find a place to live in a big city. And that's not cheap, as you know.
Yeah, of course. And then, you mentioned that's not cheap, and money and fundraising is incredibly important. McHappy Day, I imagine that's the biggest fundraiser you have for Ronald McDonald House. Talk about McHappy Day and how it helps raise funds.
Yes, McHappy Day it's the most important day in our world.
Yeah.
It is such a huge fundraiser, and really the entire community comes forward, comes out, and supports Ronald McDonald Houses across the country. A portion of every menu item sold now goes towards supporting families at a Ronald McDonald House nearby. And it really raises the funds that allow us to house families throughout the year. It's a very, very important day. And over time, our McDonald's owner-operators have become more and more generous, it seems, with every year. And now it's everything that you would purchase on the menu, as well as we sell socks, and they have paper hearts that you can buy. So lots of ways to support us tomorrow, and our hope is that everyone will in some way.
Christine, does the money raised in certain areas, does it stay in those areas wherever the money is raised, or do you make sure it goes to whoever needs it most?
It stays in the area.
It does, eh?
Yeah. So we have about I think it's 24 restaurants that support the Ottawa House.
Okay.
And it's all of southeastern Ontario. As an example, there are 4 Ronald McDonald Houses within Ontario, and so they're all sort of divided between the 4 houses. Those that are closest, you support your local Ronald McDonald House when you go to McDonald's.
This is probably a tough one, but is there any story that stands out to you? Because, staying at a Ronald McDonald House, what a difference it makes to not only the child, but the entire family's life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I mean, there are so many, but if I chose one, the Carroll family would be the one that comes to mind. Okay. And if you can imagine you live in a rural area and all of a sudden your child becomes ill and there's no real explanation, and you keep doing tests, and then all of a sudden a test comes back and you find out that your child has cancer. And you're told to get to GO as quickly as you can, and there's a team waiting for you there. Without time to pack a bag, you're sent to Ottawa, and the team meets you, and you're given the diagnosis of cancer, and then you're asked, where do you live? We live in Pembroke. Well, you're going to be here for 10 months.
Wow.
So you've just been dealt the most horrible news of your life, and you've got 2 more kids back in Pembroke, And now one of you has to be here. Both of you want to be here, but life continues in Pembroke. You still have a mortgage, you still have bills to pay, and ultimately the family's separated. And it's a child, so nobody's going to stay at the hospital by themselves. And then a social worker comes forward and says, have you heard about Ronald McDonald House? And then we are just there with open arms, waiting to give them whatever they need for those 10 months.
I have 2 kids, so I can't even imagine a family being in that position. You mentioned some exciting news in August, breaking ground. Tell me about that.
Yes, thank you. Yes, so we've been on the CHEO campus for 39 years, the same size. We were one of the original 5 houses built in Canada. And we are growing. So based on the patient projection data from our partner hospital, we have 14 suites and we should have 36.
Wow.
And we operate with a long wait list. We have for a number of years, and the time has finally come where we will be able to eliminate that wait list and accept all families traveling to Ottawa who need a home away from home. So this makes McHappy Day and all fundraising all the more important because we're going to have a much larger house to operate come next fall.
Nice, I love it. Outside of McHappy Day, does fundraising happen throughout the entire year?
It does, yes.
Yeah.
McDonald's they're our founding and forever partner, and they do a great deal to raise funds for us. We're a large operation, so we're still required to fundraise for the remaining, I guess, probably 2/3 of our operational dollars, and we do that through various events. We accept donations of all kinds, and if anybody wants to support us or hold a fundraiser for us,
I was going to ask you about that. So people, you see people that do those sort of third-party fundraising, and they choose, Ronald McDonald House as the beneficiary of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and there's never enough. So if anyone's interested, please consider Ronald McDonald House in your fundraising.
Well, and tomorrow will be the easiest way. Everybody at home can do that. Christine, thanks so much. Really appreciate it. Again, McHappy Day is tomorrow. I mean, there's no easier way to raise funds than just, go and get yourself a meal at McDonald's, grab something in the morning, something at lunch, something on the way home. We'll be back with more right after this. Don't go anywhere.